Hello everyone, Cowbunger here. Welcome back to Moveset Analysis, where we take a look at a character from a crossover platform fighting game and see how well their moveset and other attributes represent them. In the last episode we covered Mario, and now we are going to be covering the other Mario who happens to be a doctor. Here is Dr. Mario, the character who was only added to Smash because Sakurai wanted Dr. Mario music in Melee. Plus, he's a clone, so he was easy to make, but still, I think Sakurai is pretty base for wanting Dr. Mario music in the game like that. Anyway, we are here to talk about his moveset and all that cool jazz, but before I do, I just want to begin by talking about the miscellaneous stuff first. Things like how Dr. Mario currently plays and how his current stats affect him. Dr. Mario's walking speed, initial dash speed, running speed, short hop height, double jump height, air speed, air acceleration, and air friction are all worse than Mario's. Other than that, he shares most of his other stats with Mario. This makes him much less mobile than Mario overall, and some of these stats are very below average compared to the rest of the cast. Having below average stats is fine as long as Dr. Mario makes up for it in some way. Usually having great KO power is a good way to counteract below average stats. In Smash currently, he gets a slight damage increase on all of his attacks compared to Mario, but he also has some damage numbers that don't align with that either, so yeah. For this moveset, we will make it so that Dr. Mario's overall damage output is just higher than Mario's for all moves. Now, does it even make sense for Dr. Mario to be a slower version of Mario? Let's answer that first by answering this. Who even is Dr. Mario? From what I can tell, Dr. Mario is some kind of alter ego of Mario, or a Mario from an alternate universe. I guess the former is more correct because in Dr. Mario 64 there's this whole story mode thing, and Wario appears and is just Wario. No changes to his character whatsoever. Then again, in Dr. Mario World, literally everyone is a doctor. Look at this. Dr. Goomba Tower? There's no way any of these games are canon. Based on research, it does not seem like the Dr. Mario games are canon, which actually might make Dr. Mario the only character in Smash who's not canon in their universe. That's an interesting fact. Here's another interesting fact. Dr. Mario is the only direct puzzle game representative in the roster. There's characters in Smash who have been in puzzle games, but Dr. Mario specifically represents the genre since he is a completely separate character from Mario. I honestly think this could be a great opportunity for Dr. Mario to be a methodical character in some way. One that has to pick and choose his battles very carefully, because if he doesn't, then he'll end up getting into an inescapable situation, kinda like what happens when you're falling behind in a puzzle game. Of course, we should give him tools so that he can set himself up to be in favorable situations too. I think I have kinda gotten away from that first question I asked earlier, so let's answer it. Yes, I think Dr. Mario being slow fits him well. Being a doctor probably means Mario has less time to be able to work on his speed and jumping prowess. However, I feel like the current stats on Dr. Mario are pretty harsh. In some cases, Dr. Mario has some of the worst stats in the game. It's cool that his mobility stats are worse than Mario's, but I don't feel like they should be so bad that they rank among some of the worst in the game. There is a 0.7942 times multiplier on all of Dr. Mario's ground stats, and a 0.7648 times multiplier on his air stats. This is applied to Mario's regular stats, of course. I would just replace the 7 on both of these multipliers with an 8. This brings his stats a little closer to Mario's and greatly buffs his ground and air speed. I feel like the very below average stats should be reserved for characters who have some seriously big strengths that compensate for their great weaknesses. Dr. Mario has never struck me as the type of character who has big strengths, and we're not going to arbitrarily give him crazy stuff because of his stats. So our game plan is that we're going to normalize Dr. Mario's stats a little bit, while maybe introducing something into his moveset that brings puzzle game elements into a fighting game playstyle. It's going to be tough because Dr. Mario has always just been intended to be a clone character, a bonus that is just a differentiation on how regular Mario plays. And to me, I feel like clone characters are a great thing to have when you drastically change a character from one game to another. That clone character can just become the old way that you used to play that one character that now has gotten a lot of changes. I did change Mario by giving him different moves, so should we not experiment with Dr. Mario that much and just make him play like old Mario? My answer to that is complicated. I personally feel like while Mario's moveset changed pretty drastically, his playstyle did not change as drastically. He would probably still do a lot of the stuff that he liked to do in Ultimate, it's just that he does those things a bit differently now. Still, I would like to be more reserved with Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario does not have a ton to work with in regards to representing his own games within his moveset, but we can still try our best to do that while just sticking with what works. After that brief introduction, let's get into Dr. Mario's jab. Just gonna throw it out there that I'm probably gonna rapid fire through a lot of these because I've covered most of these in Mario's moveset analysis video. Jab is good, it stays. Here we are with the freaking wheel kick again. I definitely think this move fits Dr. Mario better than Mario, and with the way I'm going with this moveset, the kick might actually fit better in Dr. Mario's kit too. Still though, I wonder if we should have him act like a doctor in some of his attacks. I don't really see myself fully committing to this bit throughout the whole moveset, but just having something doctor-like within the moveset would bring just a bit more personality to Dr. Mario for me and break him away from his perception of just being Mario's clone. So with that being said, I don't think I really want forward tilt to be different in terms of functionality. I still want it to be a quick, decently ranged get off me tool. I just want the animation to be different, so I'm not going to count this as a change. But for his forward tilt, I want Dr. Mario to use his stethoscope, pushing his hand forward and damaging anyone in front of him instead of helping them. Again, in terms of frame data, hitbox reach, etc., I would like this move to be as close to his old forward tilt as possible. Down tilt is good, it stays. Up tilt is good, it stays. Forward smash is an interesting case because again, on its own it's cool. But now I've given Mario the hammer, so what am I going to do for Dr. Mario? Well, the hammer is not used within the Dr. Mario games at all, so doing something more generic here is fine. However, I still kind of want to change this move. I think the animation that plays out here should be the same, but instead of a surge of electricity coming out of Mario's hand, I want an explosion that looks similar to the effect that happens when you connect 4 of the same color pills in Dr. Mario. This explosion would always be red. I'm not going to count this as a change either, since again the functionality of this move is exactly the same. Meanwhile, in the down smash, Dr. Mario will do something similar to Pac-Man and have 2 explosions come out of his hands on both sides. They will be blue and yellow explosions respectively. I made this change because I personally feel like Dr. Mario doing a dancing move doesn't make as much sense as it does on Mario. And this is just because I'm bringing in the context of Dr. Mario being a doctor, just like I did for forward tilt. I'm not saying that a doctor can't boogie, but this just feels more natural to me. It works great with Pac-Man, so why not do something similar with Dr. Mario? Up smash is next and we are back with the headbutt. I will yield here and just keep this move the way it is. Again, I don't really see Dr. Mario going and doing a backflip as an attack. The headbutt fits him more, I guess. Again, it's highly aggressive to headbutt anybody, but I'm not going to think about this one too hard. All of his aerials are next. I think I'm going to keep them all. The neutral air is not out of place for Dr. Mario, or Mario really, but Dr. Mario doing something that is much more stoic than a spin move makes sense to me. I also love me a down air stomp. If Mario can't have it, then Dr. Mario is definitely going to have it. All of his throws are fine too. Let's just keep them. Now we can talk about the interesting part of the moveset, the specials. Right now, neutral special is just a pill throw. It acts similarly to the fireball with some slightly different properties. I'm not going to go over those properties because I'm changing how this move works anyway. Dr. Mario is still going to throw a pill, but now he throws it in an upward arc. Once the pill begins to fall, it will go straight down. I would like for the pill to fall slowly. I would also like for the pill to have interactions with other special moves. That's right, I'm doing some weird Rivals of Aether Workshop stuff with Dr. Mario. Bet you didn't see that coming. You can only have one pill out at a time. If you press the special button again when the pill is out, the pill will fall much faster than it normally would. This is a reference to how you can make objects fall faster in puzzle games in general. I think the pill could be bigger than a fireball, and of course do more damage and knockback than a fireball too. Side B is currently the sheet, which just acts like the cape. I'm keeping this move the same, but adding on to it. I want to make it so that if you use your side B on a pill, the pill will go upwards in an arc again. This will essentially let you rethrow your pill to keep it in the air for an extended period of time. This should allow for some interesting setups. Currently, up B is the un-super jump punch. The move itself is fine, but let's actually make it go upwards. I'm not going to consider that a change, that's just how I would buff the move. It's pitiful how bad this move is for recovering. Down B is currently the Mario Tornado. I want to keep this move the same, but again, add more to it. First, I want to add some ice effects to this move. It will be like that one custom move in Smash 4. Why am I doing this? You're about to see why, but it's a bit convoluted, I do admit. So Dr. Mario will do the whole spin, but at the end he sneezes. He sneezes because he is spinning around, stirring up the wind, causing the air around him to get colder, and then kinda makes himself sick. But doesn't Dr. Mario have electric powers? No, he doesn't. He never has. Sakurai just gave Dr. Mario electric powers, so who's to say I can't just give ice powers to Dr. Mario on a whim now? Yeah, I know. The guy who argued against Mario doing a kick twice is now coming up with the most silly logic you've ever seen. But it's all for a purpose. When Dr. Mario sneezes, a virus comes out of his mouth. This virus will be sent diagonally towards the direction that the Dr. Mario player's control stick is set at. If no direction is being held on the controller, the virus will go straight down. When the virus lands on the ground, it will be dizzy for a couple of seconds. During this time, you or your opponent have the chance to hit it. You can hit it with any move. The move you hit it with will determine the trajectory, speed, and distance at which the virus will travel. The virus, upon being hit, will be hurled into the air for a second or two before it explodes. The explosion does a decent amount of knockback. If the virus collides with a surface after being hit, it will explode that way too. And if a virus hits a pill, it will cause a larger, more powerful explosion. And one more thing, if your opponent does hit a virus towards you, you can reflect it back at them with Side Special, but be aware of the short fuse time on these guys. This move is a bit chaotic, but I think it rounds out his kit pretty well. I mean, I could have kept everything the same without anybody batting an eye, but where's the fun in that? I think these specials represent the puzzle game genre a bit better. The pills actually fall down from above like they do in Dr. Mario. You have the ability to move that pill around the way you would like with side B, and this down B gives you your objective. And that is to inch yourself closer to victory through strategic placement of your pills and viruses so that they collide with each other, and hopefully your opponent too. Now we get to talk about Dr. Mario's final smash, and this is Doc Finale. It's just Mario Finale with the biggest pills you've ever seen. Again, this is a pretty generic idea, but what exactly would Dr. Mario do for a final smash if not something generic? I thought about some kind of cutscene final smash that involves him basically putting you in the bottle that the viruses are in Dr. Mario games, and then just throwing pills at you. But I don't know, that kind of sounds like a fun idea for a stage. The stage could just be a game of Dr. Mario that you just happen to find yourself in the middle of, and all the explosions and pill drops that happen can damage you. So with that, I literally don't know what else could be done here really. Maybe just something where the viruses beat up the opponent. I mean, I don't really see them willingly helping Dr. Mario, so I don't know. Maybe the viruses get released from their bottle and wreak havoc. I could see that working if you could figure out how that would look visually. I don't know if I could figure that out personally. There's a lot of different things that you could do there, so I'll just keep this final smash the same. That is Dr. Mario's moveset completely gone over. So with these changes, Dr. Mario is familiar but new. Now Dr. Mario's strategy is going to involve playing mind games with his pills, the viruses, and his reflector. You can set up a bunch of possibilities with all of these moves, but they can easily be exploited by faster characters. But thanks to Dr. Mario's increased damage compared to Mario, he should be able to box with any character that does get in close. Still, his weakness is going to be his below average stats and his unorthodox specials. His specials are not super practical like Mario's, but still can be applied to most situations without having to think much. But if you don't know Dr. Mario's true potential, you'll just do worse off compared to just playing a beginner character. Puzzle games require you to be able to build a strategy just based on what obstacles you are presented with. Dr. Mario has the ability to deal with many obstacles just like Mario, but he has to put his thinking cap, head mirror on, to use his moves to their fullest. I kinda made Mario a god at recovering back onto this stage, but my version of Dr. Mario has a recovery that is just as good as Melee Mario's was, which is not bad by any means. His below average air speed will still make it difficult to recover if you've already used your side B and down B. Now let's get into some more miscellaneous stuff before I go. Dr. Mario's personality is good. He seems like a much more serious Mario in Smash, and I kinda wish the two contrasted in personality even more in Smash Ultimate. But no changes are needed on Dr. Mario's end. I like all of his mannerisms, including his taunts. They are nothing special, but they get the job of him being a much more stern Mario across. When it comes to gimmicks, or any special options that certain characters have, I feel like Dr. Mario shouldn't have any. His specials are gimmicky enough to warrant no gimmicks being thrown on top of them. Additionally, unlike Mario, I feel like Dr. Mario does not need a wall jump or footstool. With the wall jump, I think the logic is the same that I've applied to just about everything else so far. Why would a doctor know how to wall jump? That's something that someone who practices parkour would do, but not a doctor. And with footstool, well, Dr. Mario has a stomping move, so he can cover the area below him pretty well as is. Again, I would kind of like to reserve the footstool mechanic for characters who are from platforming games, and technically Dr. Mario is, but technically he's also not, so it's just one of those things where we're just gonna get rid of it. And now we are officially done. Thank you everyone for watching. Let's check out our tier list here. So Dr. Mario ended up in the same tier as Mario with 6 changes in total, but Mario had 10 changes, so Dr. Mario is technically a much better design. Funny how the bonus clone character fits the original moveset Sakurai design better than the actual character. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Subscribe to see more of my content, including videos like this. And if you really like me for some reason, you can give me some money. I accept donations through Ko-Fi. If you donate $1 or more, you get access to exclusive video content. You can also become a channel member to get those exclusive videos on top of other perks like getting extra votes for requests for series like this, emojis that you can use in videos and live streams, access to videos one day early, and shoutouts. Thank you to StreamYu, Salt Levels Max, Nuova, and Colby for being channel members. You don't have to spend money on me if you feel like you can't. Just a like and subscribe helps me a lot and is very much so appreciated. Next time on Moveset Analysis, I will cover Peach, as voted for by Salt Levels Max. Looks like we are sticking to the Mario characters, so I'll see you guys then. Bye.